What are you doing? Look at yourself. Look at the pain you're carrying for someone who already moved on. He's not losing sleep over you. He's not sitting in bed at 2 a.m. replaying old conversations, overanalyzing what went wrong, or wondering if he'll ever get another chance with you. No, he's out there living his life without a second thought. And you? You're stuck. You're hurting. You're still giving him power he doesn't even deserve. Now, press the like button and subscribe, because this is your wake-up call. And trust me, you need to hear every word. Welcome back to the channel. If you're here, it's because you've had your heart shattered by someone who didn't deserve it. You've given your all to a man who took you for granted, who left without a fight, who treated you like an option while you made him your priority. You loved him more than you loved yourself, and now you're drowning in the aftermath, thinking revenge will give you closure, that making him jealous will bring you peace, that if he sees you winning, he'll regret everything and come running back. Let me tell you something right now. That's not how this works. You're standing in a burning house, hoping the fire will put itself out, but it won't. You need to walk out before you burn to the ground with it, because every second you spend trying to prove something to him is another second wasted, another second stolen from your future, from your healing, from the woman you are meant to become. I once worked with a woman who had been with her boyfriend for 5 years. 5 years of loyalty, devotion, patience. 5 years of making excuses for his lack of effort, his broken promises, his inability to meet her where she stood. And when he finally left her for someone else, someone younger, someone new, she was devastated. She couldn't eat. She couldn't sleep. She stalked his social media, waiting for signs that his new relationship would crash and burn, that karma would do its job. But nothing changed. He was happy. He had moved on overnight, while she was stuck drowning in the pain he left behind. One night, she called me crying, saying, "I just want to make him regret it. I just want him to feel what I feel." And I told her, "Then stop giving him free rent in your mind, because right now he still controls you. And you, right now, you are doing the exact same thing." Let me ask you this. Why do you think he should regret losing you when you don't even see your worth? You want revenge, but you're still acting like he's the prize. You're still letting his actions dictate your emotions. You're still waiting for him to notice your pain. But here's the truth. He won't. Because he never lost anything. The only one who lost something here was you. And that's what needs to change. Society has fed you lies your whole life. It told you that love is about giving endlessly, about being patient, about holding on even when it hurts. It taught you to fix, to forgive, to sacrifice, while he learned to take, to walk away, to chase only what he fears losing. And now you're here, heartbroken, abandoned, still trying to prove that you were worth it. But tell me this. When was the last time he fought for you? When was the last time he lost sleep over you? When was the last time he made an effort to prove his worth to you? You know the answer. And that answer should enrage you, because you're still out here suffering for someone who would replace you without hesitation. You're still putting energy into someone who never saw your value in the first place. And that stops right now. You don't take revenge. You don't waste another second plotting how to make him miss you. You become untouchable. You rise so high that he can't even reach you anymore. You stop explaining, stop proving, stop giving a damn about whether he regrets it. Because the moment you detach completely, the moment you shift your energy back to yourself, he will feel it. And that's when regret sets in. But by then, it will be too late. Say it with me. I take my power back. Say it out loud. Feel it in your bones. And now, write it in the comments. Let the universe hear you. Let yourself hear you. Because what's coming next? It's going to change everything. Number 1. The illusion of revenge. It won't heal you. So, my dear, you think revenge will heal you. You think if he sees you thriving, if he sees you with someone better, if he watches you become everything he didn't appreciate, he'll finally regret losing you, that he'll feel the same pain you felt, that he'll suffer the way you did. No, that's the lie society sold you. You see, every book, every movie, every song tells you that revenge is the answer, that if you make him jealous, if you show him what he lost, if you become untouchable in his eyes, then suddenly he'll wake up. He'll come crawling back, begging for forgiveness, realizing he let go of the best thing in his life. But that's not how it works, because the truth is, he won't care the way you think he will. In fact, he might even take it as a challenge. He'll see your attempts to make him jealous, and instead of feeling regret, he'll feel power. And that's exactly what you don't want. Let me tell you about a woman I once knew. She was heartbroken, shattered by a man who treated her like an afterthought. So what did she do? She tried to play the game. She posted pictures looking her best. She went out of her way to make sure he saw her living her best life. And for a moment, she thought it was working. He started liking her pictures again. He started texting her, little breadcrumbs here and there. And just when she thought she had won, just when she thought he had finally realized what he lost, guess what? He walked away again, because he didn't care about her. He cared about control. And that's what you need to understand. Revenge doesn't work, because it keeps you emotionally tied to him. You think you're winning, but you're still playing the game, still reacting, still needing him to notice, still hoping he'll validate you with his jealousy. And that means he still owns a piece of you. But what if you stopped playing altogether? What if you didn't care whether he noticed? What if you didn't need him to see your glow up? What if your success, your happiness, your peace had absolutely nothing to do with him? That's where real power comes from. Because healing isn't about proving a point. It's not about making him suffer. It's about detaching so completely that his existence becomes irrelevant. You don't heal by looking back. You don't heal by trying to make him feel what you feel. You heal by moving forward in a way that makes him an afterthought. But I know, it's not easy. It hurts, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I won't tell you that walking away doesn't come with pain, that letting go of someone you once loved is as simple as flipping a switch. No, this pain is real, and you have to feel it before you can rise from it. Because the pain you're feeling right now, it's not about him, it's about you. It's about the lies you were told about love. You were told that love means holding on, no matter what. That love is about giving, giving, and giving some more. That if you're patient, if you sacrifice, if you love him enough, he will finally see your worth. But that was never love. That was conditioning. Real love. It doesn't require you to prove yourself. It doesn't demand your suffering. It doesn't make you chase someone who has already chosen to walk away. So stop waiting. Stop hoping he'll feel the way you do. Stop playing the game. Because revenge is nothing but a chain that keeps you tied to him. And the second you break free, the second you stop reacting, stop proving, stop needing, that's when you truly win. That's when you rise. Because let me tell you something, your true glow-up isn't in a post he'll see. It isn't in a new man that makes him jealous. It isn't in proving anything to him. It's in becoming a woman he could never touch again. A woman who doesn't need his attention, his regret, his validation. A woman who is so focused on herself, so deeply in love with her own life, that he stops existing in her world. That's your power. That's your revenge. So, say it with me. I do not seek revenge. I seek my peace. Say it loud. Write it in the comments. Let the universe hear you. Let yourself hear you. Because what's coming next? It's going to break every illusion you've ever had about love, and it's going to change everything. Number 2, he wasn't who you thought he was. Stop romanticizing him. So, my dear, let's stop lying to ourselves. Let's stop pretending that he was some great love, some once-in-a-lifetime connection that you'll never find again. Because if he was truly the man you thought he was, you wouldn't be sitting here broken. You're remembering the good times, aren't you? The way he used to hold you, the way he whispered those sweet words, the inside jokes, the nights where it felt like you were the only two people in the world. Your mind is replaying those moments like a highlight reel, convincing you that what you had was real, that if only things had been a little different, if only you had tried harder, if only he had seen your worth, it would have worked. But stop. Because that's not the full story. That's a carefully edited version of reality, one that your heart created to protect you from the truth. And the truth? The man you loved doesn't exist anymore, or maybe he never did. Let that sink in. You weren't in love with him. You were in love with the idea of him, the version you built in your head, the version that had potential, the version you believed in even when his actions told you otherwise. And that version? It was never real. If he truly loved you, if he truly valued you, he wouldn't have hurt you this way. A man who cares doesn't disappear when things get hard. A man who values you doesn't treat you like an option. A man who truly loves you doesn't put you in a position where you're questioning your worth. So why are you still defending him? Why are you still making excuses for the way he treated you? Why are you still holding on to the belief that maybe one day he'll change? That deep down, he really did love me. He just didn't know how to show it. Do you hear yourself? You're fighting for a ghost, chasing a man who no longer exists, or maybe never did. I've seen it over and over again. Women who thought their ex would finally change, only to be met with the same cycles of disappointment. I once spoke to a woman who spent 10 years waiting for her man to grow up. 10 years of excuses, of second chances, of believing he just needed time. And where did it get her? Alone, exhausted, and realizing she wasted a decade on a fantasy. Don't let that be you. You're clinging to potential, not reality. You're hoping for a man who never actually showed up for you. And the longer you hold on to this illusion, the more you betray yourself. Because let's be real, if he was truly the man you deserved, he wouldn't have put you through this. A good man doesn't make you beg for love. He doesn't leave you questioning your worth. He doesn't walk away and expect you to chase him. So stop making him special. Stop putting him on a pedestal he never earned. Stop believing that your love could have saved him. He is who he is. And he showed you exactly that. You just refused to believe it. But now is the time to see clearly. Because the moment you stop romanticizing him, the moment you accept that the love you gave was real, but he was not, that's when you finally set yourself free. So, say it with me. I release the illusion. I see the truth. Say it out loud. Feel it in your bones. And now, write it in the comments. Let the universe hear you. Let yourself hear you. Because what's coming next, it's going to shake you even more. But it's exactly what you need to hear. Number 3. The cycle of overgiving. You're not his savior. So, my dear, let's talk about why you keep breaking yourself for a man who wouldn't lift a finger for you. You gave too much, didn't you? You poured your heart, your time, your energy into him, hoping that one day he'd wake up and see your worth. You forgave things you should have walked away from. You justified his actions when you knew deep down they were wrong. You gave and gave and gave, thinking if you just loved him enough, he'd finally treat you right. And where did that get you? You treated him like a king while he treated you like an option. Let's stop sugarcoating it. He took you for granted because you made it too easy. I know that stings, but you need to hear it. Because the truth is, men don't value what they don't have to work for. When you hand over your love, your loyalty, your forgiveness without making him earn it, he won't appreciate it. He'll just expect it. And worse, he'll keep pushing boundaries, testing how much more you'll tolerate, how much more you'll give, how far he can go before you finally say, enough. But you never said enough, did you? I once read a story on a forum about a woman who forgave her boyfriend for cheating 5 times, 5 different women, and every time he cried, apologized, told her she was the one he truly loved, that he'd change, that this time would be different. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe in the love she thought they had. So she stayed. And do you know what happened? He never changed, because he didn't have to. She had already shown him that no matter how badly he treated her, she would always forgive him. And that's exactly what so many of you are doing. You think that proving your love will make him respect you. You think that by sticking through the hard times, he'll finally appreciate your loyalty. But the more you give to the wrong man, the less he values you. Because he was never looking for a savior, you thought you could fix him, that if you just loved him enough, he'd heal, that if you just stayed patient, he'd realize what he had, that if you kept filling his cup, one day he'd turn around and fill yours. But instead, you kept pouring into him while your own cup ran empty. And now, here you are, drained, exhausted, broken, still trying to figure out why he never appreciated you. Let me tell you why. Because he never had to fear losing you. He knew that no matter what, you'd still be there. He knew he could keep disappointing you, keep neglecting you, keep taking from you, because you'd never walk away. But now is the time to break the cycle. Because listen to me, you are not his savior. You are not his emotional punching bag. You are not some unbreakable force that is meant to withstand his mistreatment, just so one day, maybe, he'll finally see your worth. Your worth isn't something he needs to see. It's something you need to believe in. And once you do, once you stop overgiving, stop over-explaining, stop proving yourself to a man who never deserved you in the first place, everything changes. So say it with me. I am not his savior. I choose myself. Say it loud. Say it until you believe it. And now, write it in the comments. Let the universe hear you. Let yourself hear you. Because what's coming next? It's going to shift everything you thought you knew about love, and you need to be ready. Number 4, how men think. They only value what they fear losing. So, my dear, let's stop pretending. Let's stop lying to ourselves, believing he left because you weren't enough. Because the brutal reality is, he didn't leave because you weren't enough. He left because he thought you'd always be there. Men don't value what's always available. They don't chase what's standing still. They don't crave what they think they can have whenever they want. And that's exactly why he walked away so easily. Because he believed you weren't going anywhere. And why wouldn't he? You gave him your time, your love, your patience. You forgave his mistakes, overlooked his neglect, waited through his indecisiveness. You were always there, always showing up, always proving your love. And in his mind, that made you ordinary. He never feared losing you. And men, they only value what they fear losing. You've seen it happen before. Women who spent years loving a man, sacrificing for him, standing by his side, only for him to leave like it was nothing. And then, months later, after she's moved on, after she's stopped waiting, after she's finally given up on him, suddenly he starts coming back. Suddenly he's watching her stories. Suddenly he's texting, testing the waters, seeing if she's still there. Because now she's a mystery. Now he has doubt. And that doubt, that's what makes him want her again. Because a man only chases what runs away. The moment you stop needing him, the moment you stop proving your love, the moment you pull back your energy and let him feel your absence, he starts questioning everything. Where did she go? Did she meet someone else? Why isn't she still waiting for me? Did I misjudge her value? That's how men work. And listen to me, because this part is important. This isn't a strategy. This isn't about playing games, about making him chase, about withholding affection just to keep him hooked. No, this is about becoming the woman who can walk away without hesitation. Because the truth is, you should have been that woman from the start. The kind of woman who doesn't tolerate inconsistency. The kind of woman who doesn't wait around for a man to figure out if she's worth it. The kind of woman who doesn't have to teach a man how to treat her because she walks away the second he shows her he's not capable. The women who are truly valued, they are the ones who do not hesitate to leave the moment they feel unappreciated. They don't beg. They don't negotiate. They don't over-explain. And men, they respect those women because they fear losing them. So tell me, why are you still standing in place? Why are you still available to someone who already showed you how little he valued you? Why are you still waiting for him to see your worth, when the truth is, he won't? Not until you're gone. And even then, by the time he realizes it, it'll be too late. Because by then, you'll be too far ahead, too focused on yourself, too in love with your own life to even look back. So, say it with me. I am not afraid to walk away. Say it out loud. Feel it in your bones. And now, write it in the comments. Let the universe hear you. Let yourself hear you. Because what's coming next? It's going to give you the emotional strength to never let this happen again, and you need to be ready. Number 5. Emotional control. The woman who masters her emotions wins. So, my dear, let me ask you something. Why are you letting a man who didn't choose you control your emotions? Why are you still crying over someone who sleeps just fine at night? Why are you losing yourself over a person who has already moved on? I know it hurts. I know your mind won't shut up. I know you're replaying every conversation, dissecting every word, wondering if you could have done something different. But listen to me. This ends today. Because right now, you're a mess. You're reacting. You're drowning in emotions. And the worst part, he isn't. He's not sitting up at night overthinking. He's not obsessing over what he lost. He's not questioning his worth. So why are you? Why are you handing over your power so easily? You're letting emotions dictate your actions. You're letting heartbreak make decisions for you. You're letting someone who didn't value you have complete control over your peace. And for what? What do you think will happen? That if you suffer enough, the universe will feel bad and bring him back? That if you cry enough, he'll suddenly realize how much he hurt you? That if you spiral long enough, he'll come back with an apology that actually means something? No, that's not how this works. The hard truth is, your emotions right now are keeping you stuck. They are keeping you weak. They are keeping you tied to someone who is no longer tied to you. And until you learn to control them, you will never be free. Because the woman who masters her emotions wins. Not the woman who reacts. Not the woman who begs. Not the woman who lets heartbreak break her. The woman who wins is the one who remains calm, unshaken, untouchable. The one who feels the pain but doesn't let it consume her. The one who understands that pain is temporary, but self-respect is permanent. You think being emotional proves how deeply you loved. No, it just proves how deeply you gave your power away. And now, it's time to take it back. Because the moment you stop reacting, you take back control. You take back your dignity. You take back your confidence. You take back the energy you wasted on someone who never deserved it in the first place. And when you do, when you stop overthinking, stop obsessing, stop feeding emotions that no longer serve you, you become untouchable. And men, they feel that shift. They sense when a woman no longer needs them. They sense when their absence no longer affects her. And that is when they regret. Not when you cry. Not when you post sad quotes. Not when you seek revenge. They regret when you don't react at all. When you become so emotionally controlled that nothing they do can shake you, when you walk past them like a stranger, when you carry yourself with such unbreakable energy that it makes them wonder if they ever mattered to you at all. That's power. So stop reacting. Stop giving him control over your emotions, because the woman who controls her emotions controls her life. Say it with me. I control my emotions. They do not control me. Say it again. Say it like you mean it. Now write it in the comments. Let the universe hear you. Let yourself hear you. Because what's coming next? It will teach you how to disappear so completely from his world that your absence will haunt him, and you need to be ready. Number 6. The ultimate power move, disappearing without a trace. So, my dear, let's get this straight. The ultimate power move isn't screaming, it isn't proving a point, and it sure as hell isn't revenge. It's disappearing, completely. No closure, no last words, no, I hope you find happiness. No long emotional messages about how much he hurt you. Just silence. Because silence is louder than anything you could ever say. Right now, he expects a reaction from you. He expects you to check in, to reach out, to keep the door open just enough so he knows he still has access to you. He expects tears, anger, a messy goodbye, because that's what most women do. But you're not most women. So, you ghost him. You vanish like you never existed in his world. You remove your energy so completely that he has no choice but to feel the weight of your absence. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman I knew who was deeply in love with a man who treated her like she was disposable. She gave him chance after chance, hoping he'd change. And every time he messed up, she'd cry, she'd fight. She'd try to make him see how much pain he was causing her. And he never cared, because he knew she wasn't going anywhere. Until one day, she decided she was done. And this time, she didn't say a word. She didn't fight, didn't argue, didn't beg. She just disappeared. And that's when he lost his mind. He started calling, texting, asking mutual friends about her. But she was gone. And that's when it hit him. He had lost something valuable. Because for the first time, he was left with questions instead of answers. Where did she go? Why isn't she responding? Did she move on already? Was she never really that attached to me? And that doubt, that's what destroys men. Because as long as you're still there, as long as you're reacting, he feels secure. He knows he still has some level of control over you. But the second you remove yourself completely, that's when his confidence starts to crumble. That's when he starts regretting. That's when he starts missing you. Not because he truly loves you, but because he no longer has access to you. And listen, I know what you're thinking. But I want closure. I need him to understand what he did to me. No, you don't. Because closure is a lie. It's an excuse to stay emotionally connected. You don't need him to understand your pain. You don't need him to apologize. You don't need him to get it. You just need to walk away. And don't just walk away. Walk away like a queen, with grace, with dignity, with the kind of silent, unbothered energy that shakes his soul. Because nothing haunts a man more than a woman who vanishes without explanation. So don't text, don't check in, don't send a final message. Just disappear and let him wonder, let him regret. But you move on. Say it with me. I do not chase, I disappear. Now write it in the comments. Let the universe hear you. Let yourself hear you. Because what's coming next? It will teach you how to rebuild yourself so powerfully that even you won't recognize the woman you used to be. And you need to be ready. Number 7. Rebuilding. Turn pain into power. So, my dear, it's time to stop watching him and start watching yourself. You've spent enough nights scrolling through his social media, enough days overanalyzing his words, enough weeks wondering if he'll ever realize what he lost. But tell me, when was the last time you focused on you? When was the last time you poured into yourself the way you poured into him? Because that's the real tragedy here. It's not that he left. It's not that he didn't see your worth. It's that you stopped seeing your own worth the moment he did. But let me tell you something right now. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are not some victim of love. You are a woman who just forgot who the hell she is. And now, it's time to rebuild. Because he was a storm. He came into your life, shook you, left destruction in his path. He tore down your confidence, shattered your trust, left you standing in the ruins of something you thought would last. But you are not meant to stay in the wreckage. You are meant to rise from it. And I want you to ask yourself something. What if you took every ounce of energy you wasted on him and put it into yourself instead? What if you used this pain as fuel? Because I've seen women do it. I've seen women take heartbreak and turn it into power. Women who, instead of begging for love, built lives so powerful, so full, so undeniably magnetic that their ex became nothing more than a forgotten name in the past. I knew a woman who was left shattered by a man she thought was the love of her life. He drained her, used her, walked away without a second thought, and for months she was lost. She cried, she waited, she wondered if he would come back. Until one day she looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the woman staring back. She was exhausted, weak, diminished, a shell of who she used to be. And she made a decision: never again. She took all that energy, all that pain, and she put it into herself. She leveled up. She started working out, not for him, but because she deserved to feel strong again. She started chasing her dreams, not to make him jealous, but because she had wasted enough time not chasing herself. And do you know what happened? One day, years later, she ran into him. And when he saw her, he didn't recognize her. Not just because she looked different, but because her energy was different. She wasn't that girl anymore. She wasn't the woman who would have dropped everything for him. She wasn't waiting for him to see her worth. She had already seen it for herself. And that's the goal. Not to make him regret, not to prove anything to anyone, but to become so powerful, so untouchable, that even you don't recognize the woman you used to be. Because you don't heal by waiting. You don't heal by watching him. You heal by becoming. So stop looking back. Stop checking his page. Stop wasting another second wondering if he's thinking about you. It's time to focus on you. Say it with me. I rebuild. I rise. I choose me. Now, write it in the comments. Let the universe hear you. Let yourself hear you. Because what's coming next, it will teach you how to step so fully into your power that no man will ever have control over you again. And you need to be ready. Number 8. The final lesson. You won't even care anymore. So, my dear, let me tell you something that might be hard to believe right now. One day, you won't even care anymore. One day, you'll wake up, go about your morning, and realize something strange. He didn't even cross your mind. You won't feel that sting in your chest when his name pops up. You won't feel the urge to check his social media, to replay old memories, to wonder what could have been. You won't care. And that will be the most liberating, powerful moment of your life. Right now, I know it feels impossible. Right now, you think you'll always feel this ache, that you'll never stop missing him, that this pain will follow you forever. But I promise you, it won't. I've seen it happen too many times. I've seen women who swore they'd never move on, who thought they'd never love again, who believed they'd always feel this emptiness, until they didn't. I knew a woman who cried herself to sleep every night for months over a man who walked away like she meant nothing. She swore she'd never get over him, that the love they had was once in a lifetime. She thought about him constantly, imagined different endings, wished for closure. But then, life moved on. She started focusing on herself. Slowly, she put herself back together. She stopped reacting, stopped waiting, stopped giving her energy to a ghost. And one day, she realized she had no feelings left for him. No pain, no anger, no regret, just nothing. And that's the goal. Not revenge, not making him jealous, not waiting for an apology, just freedom. Because the best revenge isn't proving anything. It's reaching a point where he doesn't exist to you. Not in your thoughts, not in your emotions, not in your life. And let me be clear, this isn't about pretending. This isn't about acting like you don't care while secretly checking his profile. No, this is about truly, deeply, genuinely not giving a damn anymore. Because he was never your forever. He was a lesson, not a loss. A lesson in self-worth. A lesson in boundaries. A lesson in what you will never tolerate again. And once you take that lesson and apply it, you will never be the same woman again. So stop waiting for closure. Stop looking back. Stop wondering if he'll regret it, if he'll change, if one day he'll realize what he lost. Because by the time he does, you won't care anymore. Say it with me. He was a lesson, not a loss. Now write it in the comments. Let the universe hear you. Let yourself hear you. Because what comes next, it's not about him anymore. It's about you stepping fully into your power. And you need to be ready. And that brings us to the truth you've been avoiding. Every second you waste on him is a second stolen from your future. The choice is yours. Stay stuck or move forward like a woman who knows her worth. He broke your heart. Don't let him break your future too. If this hit deep, like, subscribe, and share this with a woman who needs to hear it. It's time to let go.